Hi there, and welcome back to the world of Excel VBA coding. Today we are diving into the Range.Find function. I use this function in every bit of code I write. This code allows the user to search massive amounts of data to find specific information. We will look at the parameters of Range.Find along with how to search in different directions and how to continually search until all matches are found. So let's VBA. The Range.Find function is so powerful. An example of it in action is this part of my user form, Manage Employees. I can enter part of a name and all the results show up in my list box. But first, we need to start with the basics. Let's take a look at the parameters of this function. You must state what you are looking for, but the rest of these are optional. What can be any text or number in your data? After is when to start searching. For instance, if you want to start your search after the header. Look in tells you where to look. I never really use anything except Excel values, and this is the default, but you can look in your formulas, comments, and notes. I use look at every time I use this. The default is Excel whole, but you can also search for partial matches using Excel part. I never use search order, but you can choose to search by columns or rows. Search direction defaults to Excel next, but sometimes I do want it to search in reverse order by using Excel previous. I use match case rarely, but I have used it, especially when searching for names. I have never used match byte because it is for languages that use different characters. Search format gives you the option to search by cell color, text color, or other formatting options. I never really use this one either. Let's see this all in action by going to our VBA editor and inserting a new module. We're going to insert a sub and call it sub basic find, and then add our notes so we know what we're doing. We are going to search for a name on our employee sheet, which is sheet 2. We need to have a variable for our find results. I like to make my variables something that will remind me of what it does. You can't put the full word find since this is part of the function, but you can dim fnd as range. Next, type with sheet 2 and go ahead and add your end with so you don't forget it. Now on sheet 2, we are going to see our employee names are stored in column A. So that's what we need to reference. So we're going to set find equal to dot range and then column A. Dot find. And now we need to set our parameters. We'll start out with our what. So we do what colon equals. For this example, I'm going to just put Jane Doe. Then comma, look in, colon equals XL values, which is just our cell data. Then comma, look at, colon equals XL whole, so that it only looks at the full cell entry. Then we're going to go ahead and do comma, search direction, colon equals. This really isn't necessary, but this is just so you can see how it's written. So we'll do XL next, comma, match case, colon equals. Also, this isn't necessary, but here you go. We'll put true and then close our parentheses. Notice as I went through this, you can see I capitalized some things, didn't capitalize others. That's because the code will correct that for me. It's just my way of being a little bit lazy. So now we're going to hit enter. And we want to add a debug.print, and we're going to put find.address so we can see what cell is being found. Now, this is going to show in the immediate window at the bottom. And just a reminder, if you don't have this immediate window at the bottom, you just simply go to View, Immediate Window, and this will show up down here for you. So now when we hit run, you will see that Jane Doe comes back in cell A2. When we go back over here, we will see, in fact, Jane Doe is in cell A2. Now that you have seen the full code, let's shorten this to what you really need. We can remove the look in because that's a default, the search direction because once again, that's our default, and the match case. We don't really need that either. We'll run this again and you will see you get the same exact result. I really like to use the XL part instead of XL whole. It's not often that you want to find the exact match when using the Range.Find function. Let's change our code by changing Jane Doe to just JA and XL whole to XL part. Let's run this again. You will see that you get the same result because this function stops after the first match is found. But if we look at our data sheet, we will see that there is actually another match that has a JA. So let's change up the code to find the second match. By adding the search direction as XL previous, it will start the search from the bottom. And when we run it, you will see that it brings back the second match instead of the first match. So that's just searching from the bottom up. But what if we want to see all of the results? We have this awesome function called FindNext. Let's add a new sub and call it FindNext. Add in our little note for what we're doing. Now we're going to dim find as range and do our width sheet 2 and our end width. We will set our find just like we did previously. Do set find equals dot range A, because we're looking in column A, dot find what colon equals, we'll put our JA, look at colon equals XL part, and close our parentheses. We are going to add a little do loop so that the code will look through all of the data until all matches have been found. I am adding the debug.print we did before, find.address, so that we can see the results in the immediate window and check that it is working. In order to have it continue to search after it finds the first match, we will update our find variable like this. Set find equal to dot range, and we're still looking in column A, dot find next. And we enter in our initial variable of find, close parentheses. This is just telling the code to keep searching. So since we are in a do loop, we need to add a parameter to have it stop looping once everything has been found. We add loop while not find is nothing. Now, once I'm in here, I do like to clean my code up a little bit. It's just more visually pleasing and helps me find things. Now, I'm going to go ahead and delete out what I have in this immediate window so you can see what's about to happen. When we run this, you will see that the code is not stopping, but continually searching, which is a problem. I'm going to hit escape to get that to stop. And you can see it kept going for quite some time. We need to add a little more code to make it stop after the last result is found. We are going to dim another variable called first find, and we're going to dim that as a string because it's going to just be a placeholder for the address once a match is found. After we first set the find variable, we will add first find equals find dot address. Now, in our loop, we need to add another parameter to make it stop searching once the find.address equals the first find address. So to the loop, we're going to type and find.address does not equal first find. So basically, until it's going to keep looping as long as these two are not the same thing. When we run this, we see that it only returns the two results, which is exactly what we want. Now, one more thing to consider is what to do if there are no results. You see, if we change the what parameter to Jane, John, something random there, and then run this, we get an error. This is very common when using the Range.Find function. So we have a little bit of code to help with that. After setting the find variable, on the next line, enter if not find is nothing, then. So what that's saying is basically it sounds a little backwards, but if we do find something, then we continue on. If not, then we stop our code. Make sure to add the end if after your loop. And I get a little weird with this. I like to kind of tab my things over when I'm within an if statement. Just it helps me keep up with it in case there's a problem with the code. I am also going to add an else statement. And this is just so you can kind of see what's going to happen here. We'll do a message box and we're going to say no matches found. Now we run the code and you will see there's no match for Jane John, so it pops up a message box of no matches found. Well, that is all for the basics of Range.Find function. If you watch more of my Excel VBA courses, you will see that I use this function in almost every piece of code because there's so much you can do with it. For now, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more Excel VBA tutorials. Leave me a message in the comments section if you have any questions or topic suggestions. Thanks and have a great day.